Hi everybody, welcome back to Property Chat with James Alexander. I'm Ken Hume. Sorry we've been away for a while, but we're back, this time with the elephant in the room. No DSS, most landlords won't take them. What's it all about? We're here to tell you. Stand by. Okay, so lots of people have been debating about the no DSS cries and the bias against DSS tenants, saying that they're less popular than dogs according to the BBC and according to the room shares that are refusing benefit claimants. And we do find that it's true, most landlords don't want to accept DSS, but it's unfair to say that it's the landlord's fault. It's actually the system's fault that leads to this problem. Let me explain why. Years ago, we used to have a lot of benefit claimants and no problem at all. The rents were good, they were the same as the private market, the tenants were reliable, and when you wanted the tenant to leave because you wished to sell or for another reason, it was no problem at all. They would take a letter to the local authority who would then find somewhere else for them. It was that simple. Unfortunately, all that changed. More recently, what's happened is a number of things. Now we have buy-to-let mortgages. The buy-to-let lenders largely don't accept DSS. Insurers don't like DSS either, so therefore the landlord, by letting to a DSS receiving tenant, could lose their insurance, which is obviously something they don't want to do. On the other side of the coin, benefit payments now for housing benefit have gone down whilst rents have gone up, and the government have done nothing about this. So if you want to point the finger of who's to blame here, this is not about the private landlord excluding DSS tenants. This is about a system where private rents are substantially higher than the equivalent offered by government departments locally for housing benefits. Therefore, purely from a business sense, with house prices so high, people are buying, landlords particularly, are buying properties with the intention of renting them out, and they're relying on a rental income of a certain level. If the housing benefit applicants' money doesn't equate to the market rent for that property, why would they accept them? This is not about bias against these DSS applicants. It's about the system and the fact that rents now are so high locally that they're actually out of the reach of DSS applicants due to the fact that their benefit payments will just come nowhere near them. But more importantly now, if you take a benefit tenant, there are other issues as well. One is the speed and time for processing claims. The other is the varying nature of payments, which can go up or down according to whether a tenant is working or not. And then on top of that, if you ever wish to evict your tenant, the local authority will insist that you serve the correct notice. And if you don't, they'll be very quick to tell you so that you delay in your application to get the tenant out of the property. They will advise the tenant at all costs to sit tight until evicted. Now again, tenants, put yourself in a landlord's position. If the landlord is forced to evict you, that is going to incur a fee for normally solicitors in the order of around £1,200 to £1,500, assuming that they gain possession at the first hearing. It could go substantially higher if they don't. So this is a massive bill. Now, at the end of this process, when landlords are made to evict housing benefit tenants in a way that they wouldn't have to do on the private market, because most private tenants, having received a notice, would go and find another property, and obviously it would be much simpler for them to do so because private tenants don't have the same issues. So from a housing benefit perspective, what the local authorities have tried to do is elongate the stay of the tenants so that they don't join the housing queue, which in theory we understand because it stops the queue getting bigger. But here's the problem. Once you do that to a landlord and force them to evict that tenant and spend extra money and have the extra stress of going to court, what you do is alienate that landlord from ever accepting housing benefit tenants again. So the system has actually made this problem for itself, and it's largely the government that are at fault here, and the way that they administer the system just does not work. Therefore, the private landlords that hold most of the housing stock in the UK are, I'm afraid, very unlikely to turn this decision around. And the reasons, as I've stated, are many, but most of all, it's about insurance, it's about mortgages, and bottom line, folks, I'm afraid that the rents on the private market are higher. Now, there is some balance, you could say, in that private tenants don't stay as long as housing benefit tenants. Quite often people in these circumstances will stay for much longer and be very regular and reliable tenants over a very long period of time. The problem is the substantial difference between the rents they can pay and the private market means that that's not really enough of an incentive. So government, you need to get your thinking caps on here. This is not about private landlords' prejudice against housing benefit applicants. It's about a system that doesn't allow housing benefit applicants a chance. Hope you've liked the video. We've been away for a while, so please like and share with your friends, and that'll encourage us to make the next one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.